All right, welcome to the Boro on a Sunday afternoon. Just like old times, when I moved here in '94, man, you could come here on Sunday, hear Roland Gresham with Sammy Baker and Avent Lane and Annie Selleck for $5. And then come in, I caught my son sneaking in, but he was sneaking in to hear Janie Gray, so I didn't fuss about it. All right, here we go. Let's do this thing. Thank you, JoJo, and the Double Bucks. Know a guy that's got a lot to lose. He's a pretty nice fella. He's kind of confused. He's got muscles in his head, never been used. Thinks he owns half of this town. Starts drinking heavy, gets a big red nose. Then he beats his old lady with a rubber hose. But then he takes her out to dinner, buys her new clothes. That's the way the world goes round. That's the way that the world goes round. You're up one day, the next you're down. It's a half an inch of water, you think you're gonna drown. That's the way that the world goes round. I was sitting in the bathtub, counting my toes, when the radiator broke. The water all froze, I got stuck in the ice without my clothes. I was naked as the eyes of a clown. I was crying ice cubes, hoping I'd croak, when the sun came through the window. The ice all broke, but then I stood up and laughed. I thought it was a joke. That's the way that the world goes round. That's the way that the world goes round. You're up one day, the next you're down. It's a half an inch of water, you think you're gonna drown. That's the way that the world goes round. One of the few advantages to being old, got to see some really cool acts, like that tune I'm covering, John Prine right there. I saw him many times. Back in the day when you could light up a Marlboro in just about any damn bar. So he'd come in with a pack or two, he'd sing a song, and then take a few hits off that thing, and then he'd stick it on the end of that bass E string. Because his songs are only 2.5, 3 minutes long. He'd finish it off and light another one off of that one. But he told this story many times back in the early days. A woman walked up to him after a show and said, "Man, I really dig that song you wrote about the happy enchilada." He said, "You know, I'm pretty sure I never wrote a song about Mexican food." But he said, as she was walking off, I said, "Hey, honey, glad you like the lyrics. This one's for you." That's the way that the world goes round. You're up one day, the next you're down. It's a happy enchilada, and you think you're gonna drown. That's the way that the world goes round. That's the way that the world goes round. That's the way that the world goes round. Thank you. A little John Prine there. I miss that guy. One of my favorites. He could play a funny tune that he wanted to jerk your heart out. All right, I can play this one because my wife's not here. Honestly, God, she thought I wrote it about her. This is really based off of an old Richard Pryor routine. You know, after he nearly burned his face off freebasing cocaine, he was on this talk show and he said, you know, my woman left me recently, and he said, she should have left me a long time ago. He said, hell, I was a no count, I knew it. But he said, the thing that really pissed me off was she spent 2 hours telling me why she was leaving. So this is for her. If you run out of something to say, please stop talking. If you got nothing nice to say, keep it to yourself. If you're still looking for a fight, honey, keep on walking. Or you can tell that story to somebody else. Maybe we should both start walking. Baby, you head north, and I'll go south. Maybe we should go off in different directions. So I can't hear it if you happen to speak. I think it's best that we just move on now. Because you hurt me so bad, hell, it hurts when I sleep. Maybe we should both start walking. Baby, you head north, and I'll go south. All right. Pretty simple concept. If you got nothing to say, just shut the hell up. Please. Hell, it's sad when you're my age and you do shit. Now, and I'm really old. I'm usually the oldest guy in the damn room. I mean, hell, I've been around since the Dead Sea was just sick. Don't think about that. Just dwell on it for just a minute. But anyway, most of the people I cover are long dead. If I could do it, I'd cover some Joey Fletcher tunes. All right, here we go. You know, it doesn't really matter how much money you got. If you drive a new SUV, what you really need, a handful of friends willing to stand by you. Did I mention it doesn't really matter how much money you got? Or how big your damn house is. What you really need, a handful of friends who will stand by you. When the night has come, the land is dark, and that old moon is about the only light you'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't even shed a tear. Not just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Stand by me. Won't you stand now? Stand by me now. Stand by me now. If the sky that we look upon tumble and fall, if those old mountains, if they should crumble right into the sea, no, I won't be afraid. No, I won't even shed a tear. Not just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, won't you stand now? Stand by me. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Do a demonstration here. It's early reverb. And if you geek out on that kind of stuff. All right, let's see what else we got. Here we go. I know JoJo. I'm born and raised in the South. Anybody else here from the South? I mean, like, your whole life? Okay. Well, this is celebrating Southernness. And it's kind of about, if you're driving the back roads, I ain't talking interstate. That don't count. But if you want to find a really good, greasy diner that's really good, got great food, hit the back roads. So down in Mississippi, there's a lot of them. Leaving Como, Mississippi, out on Highway 51. Heard about a place, said they served up a fried honey bun. It's called Leela Mae's Catfish and Chicken Shack. They say everybody that goes there always comes back. Well, I opened up the door, and what hit me was Mama Tried. Knew right then and there I was going to have to order something fried. I got the catfish and chicken combo, now for a side. They had white gravy listed as a vegetable. Hell, I almost cried. Just wish my mama could see me now. She'd tell all of her friends, my baby's getting a vegetable plate. I feel so proud. But you know, they say everything's gonna kill you. Might as well make it something fun. Could I get a side of white gravy with my fried honey bun? All right. Soon to be a hit in my own mind. This one band, we put a record out, and man, after years and years, we had sold tens of copies. It actually went plywood. Never got gold or platinum, but it's just above particle board. Hey, there you go, somebody. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here till about 12:45. Okay. Here's a guy who's been around a minute. Old Bobby Zimmerman, you know that guy. They say everything can be replaced. They say every distance is not near. Though I remember every face of every man who put me here, I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. They say every man needs protection. They say every man must fall. Though I swear I see my reflection somewhere so high above this wall. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. Yonder standing there in this lonely crowd, man who swears he's not to blame. But all day long I hear him shouting, oh so loud, crying out about how he was framed. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. Any day now, I shall be released. Thank you. I try to land somewhere between Dylan and the band, which pretty good spot. Either way. All right, well, this one goes out to my grandpa, rest his soul. East Tennessee, man. This dude, my mama was oldest of 7, and anyway, but he worked in the coal mines up in Oneida, just north of Knoxville. And I said, well, Papa, how long did you hang out there underground? He said, about 2 months. And this is a man that couldn't afford to be out of work, but he'd gotten on at K25 there in Oak Ridge, but he said, I couldn't do it. He said, I had nightmares at night, just hearing sounds down there when you were down underground. And I said, shit, okay. So I learned a couple of coal mining tunes from my grandpa. When I was a curly-headed baby, when my daddy sat me down upon his knee, said, son, you go to school and learn your letters. Don't you be a dusty miner like me. But I was born and raised at the mouth of Hazard Holler, where the coal cars rumbling and roaring past our door. Now they're standing in a rusty row all empty. The yelling in don't stop here anymore. Well, I used to think my daddy was a black man who scrimped and saved to buy the company store. Now he goes downtown with empty pockets, and his face white as the February snow. But I was born and raised at the mouth of Hazard Holler, with the coal cars rumbling and a roaring past our door. Now they're standing in a rusty row all empty. The yelling in don't stop here anymore. Last night I dreamed that I went down to the office just to draw my payday like I'd done before. That kudzu vine was growing around the doorway. Grazing grass was pushing up through the floor. Well, I never dreamed that I would love this coal dust. I never dreamed I'd long to hear that tipple roar. How I wish this grass would turn to money. Greenbacks fill my pockets up once more. But I was born and raised at the mouth of Hazard Holler, with the coal cars rumbling and a roaring past our door. Now they're standing in a rusty row all empty. The yelling in don't stop here anymore. Thank you, guys. All right, let's see. Well, I guess. Oh, man. Hey, I don't wish this on anybody, but if anybody ever grew up really poor, I get it, man. You know, like I remember Mom would put me in the left back seat behind the driver in our 59 Plymouth Savoy because my little baby sister got the shotgun seat, which should have been mine. But you could see through the floorboard in the right back seat. So, yeah, buddy. Anyway, but this tune is from a dude out of Austin, Texas. One of the funniest guys. If you ever get a chance to see a band called Shiny Ribs, dude, go see those people and you'll thank me later. He was in a band called the Gourds, and he wrote a lot of their tunes. He's a Texas guy, but he talked about living in a poor neighborhood. He said that the only people that live there is the ones that had to. But anyway. This is a Kevin Russell original, and it's called The Poor People's Store. And man, I've been in those places. It's just a unique experience. You can get more at the Poor People's Store. The Poor People's Store is where you can get it. You can get more at the Poor People's Store. The Poor People's Store is where you can get it. Knockoff jeans with irregular seams, some chairs made of beans and some beauty cream, some Christian Aguilera, black mascara, corn tortillas and some brown aloe vera. You can get more at the Poor People's Store. The Poor People's Store is where you can get it. Yeah, you can get more at the Poor People's Store. The Poor People's Store is where you can get it. Socks with flame, some pills for your pain, some razors infused with the essence of rain. They've got a cigarette lighter that says I'm a quitter. A fish that sings, take me to the river. You can get more at the Poor People's Store. The Poor People's Store is where you can get it. Yeah, you can get more at the Poor People's Store. The Poor People's Store is where you can get it. Pantyhose, no doze. I suppose that there's even some clothes that you wear well, but they make you smell. The smell you smell when you get out of jail. You can get more at the Poor People's Store. The Poor People's Store is where you can get it. Yeah, you can get more at the poor people's store. The poor people's store is where you can get it. Okay. I know, man. You out on the road, you've been in them places. You know what I'm talking about. Pills for your pain, a razor infused with the essence of rain. But my favorite is a cigarette lighter that says I'm a quitter. It doesn't take much to amuse me. Hey, Jojo, I'll do like one more, maybe 1.5, or what do you think, 2 more? All right, let's do 2 more. All right. Well, I've done some folk music, but I don't think I've actually done a real country song. I mean, I guess, hell, I started watching the Grand Ole Opry when there was a lot of string band music on a 15-inch Philco. My grandpa get me to go over and pinch down on the tinfoil on the rabbit ears, and once the signal got real good, he'd say, okay, stay right there. And so I'd stand there for a few minutes, and I'd go, well, shit, come on. And then I'd just walk off. Once again, I'm easily amused. First thing I remember knowing was a lonesome whistle blowing. A youngin's dream of growing up to ride on a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound. They tried to raise me right, but Mama tried. One and only rebel child from a family meek and mild. Mama seemed to know what lay in store. In spite of all my country learning, to the bad I just kept turning till Mama couldn't hold me anymore. And I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried. Mama tried, yeah, Mama tried to raise me better, but her pleading I denied. And that leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Poor old Daddy, rest his soul, he left Mama a heavy load. She's tried so hard to fill his shoes, working hours without rest, wanted me to have the best. She tried to raise me right, but I refused. And I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried. Mama tried, yeah, Mama tried to raise me better, but her pleading I denied. And that leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Hell, let's end on a drinking song. So I got buddies that play in the bands and they say, hey, we do a lot of oldies. Okay, how old? Here's you one from, let's see, Mississippi Sheiks, 1928. You're going to go old, go all the way back. Sack whiskey on my back, and the sheriff is on my track. You got to make it to the woods if you can. Take your word to go my bail, buddy, they'll send you to the county jail. You got to make it to the woods if you can. If you can. If you can. You got to make it to the woods if you can. If you want to have to leave home, you just mess with a bottle of corn. You got to make it to the woods if you can. Take your word to go my bail, but if they'll send you to the county jail, you got to make it to the woods if you can. If you can, if you can. You got to make it to the woods if you can. When you go out for a load, sheriff's gonna stop you on the road. You got to make it to the woods if you can. It's a real surprising thing when you hear them 44s ring. You got to make it to the woods if you can. If you can, if you can. You got to make it to the woods if you can. Ever since this state went dry, these bootleggers now they've been shy. You got to stay out the way of the sheriff if you can. If you can, if you can. You got to stay out the way of the sheriff if you can. If you can, if you can. You got to stay out the way of the sheriff if you can. Hey, thank y'all so much. This is probably the first real deal bar I came to when I moved here in 1994. And man, I'm so glad they're still here. And I'm also so glad I ran into this dude right here, Mr. Joey Fletcher. I love this man, his whole family, and he's going to come up here and show you how to do it, man. Stick around. Thank you, buddy.